Thank you, Monica, for joining me and helping me out with my capstone project. How have you been so far?
Pretty good.
That's awesome to hear. Okay, let's get straight on with the interview. So, first question is, what language are you learning right now, and why did you choose that language?
I'm currently learning Polish, and most of my family is Polish. My dad immigrated from Poland, and most of my family lives in Poland, so I wanted to learn it in order to communicate with them because none of them really know how to speak English.
Oh, okay. So, the relevance and significance of learning Polish is that you're able to make connections with your family. What does your language education consist of? Do you have a set program? Do you go to classes? What does learning a new language look like to you?
Before COVID, um, I went to a class every Sunday. We still do that every Sunday, but now it's just online, and it's for about an hour and a half, just once a week.
So, what do these lessons or classes look like?
We have a textbook, and it's basically the textbook is just the entire curriculum for that year. So a chapter will consist of some sort of grammar, some sort of vocabulary, and something else to do with the general topic. Like right now, we're learning about family and stuff. So we'll
Mhm.
learn a verb case related to speaking about family, and then learn vocabulary and stuff like that.
Next question is, what are some challenges you face while learning Polish?
I definitely get very unmotivated to do like my homework or just review in general, and that has a huge effect on my learning because if you don't memorize or review certain things, it's just going to be really, really hard later on. Like, there's a point a year ago where I didn't memorize numbers, and now we're doing that, but on a whole new level, and it's just very confusing for me. So I'm just behind on everything, basically.
Struggling to find motivation, that is a big challenge. Is there a challenge like in the course itself, like whether it's grammar or the pronunciation? Is there like
Other
challenges?
than, yeah, other than that, the language is just really hard to learn. It doesn't resemble English or French at all, which are languages I have knowledge in. So it's just completely new and very difficult to learn because a lot of it doesn't make any sense at first, and you just have to kind of go with the flow until you understand it.
Question number 5. On the topic of habits, like you explained how you're like unmotivated, how do you encourage yourself to continue learning even though you don't feel like it?
I I usually just like right before my class, I'll do all the homework I was supposed to do during the week. Mainly because my teacher doesn't get mad at me or anything, but if you don't do the homework, you're just very unaware with what's going on in the class, and I hate that feeling of being behind and not knowing what I'm doing. So I just try to get it done as soon, like literally minutes before the class, so I don't have to deal with that.
You feel motivated by like having this by needing to prepare for the next class just so you don't fall behind. And that's valid. That's a valid reason
Yeah.
and it works. Do you in the case of like a burnout or if you're just like really not willing to learn the language, do you have like self-care routines or do you just like take breaks?
I don't really. We get one Sunday off every month, and I'll instead of actually taking a break on that Sunday, I'll review because I never really review any other time during the month.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I try to do.
Making the most out of your breaks and stuff. Very productive.
Yeah,
Question number 6. How do you plan on applying the skills you developed from learning a new language into your life?
well, definitely with my family in Poland, I would love to go back and travel there again and actually be able to talk to them without using my dad as a translator because it's kind of
Mhm.
awkward. Um, and I was also there's a Polish deli by my house, and they're hiring right now. And everyone who works there speaks Polish, and most of the customers are Polish. So I feel like it would, number one, just be good for me to practice my Polish, to be working in a Polish environment, and also to um, just apply what I've learned into something beneficial.
Hmm. Number seven, what are some skills that you have learned that are not necessarily language related, but you've used to help you with your language journey?
Definitely time management. I don't really have time management, but no matter how unmotivated I feel, I will always get stuff done just because of the class. I would hate the feeling of being the only person who didn't do the homework. Um, so that just kind of spills into like all my school classes. I don't want to be that one person who didn't do it and then have to come up with that excuse when I don't have one. So it's just helped with general time management and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. Time management is a big skill that can be learned on, like in many disciplinaries, like in sports and especially in languages. Question number eight. In your opinion, how would society benefit or suffer from having more multilingual individuals?
In my opinion, I think society would mainly benefit from having multilingual people because we already do, and that's kind of how I get to eat sushi when I want to, and that's how you get to eat pierogi when you're at school. It's just it maintains cultural diversity and it allows other people to experience cultures they may not be able to on a regular basis.
I see. So you think of language as a bridge between different cultures and thus brings everyone in harmony and unity.
Yeah,
That's a very insightful response. Thank you for that. There's also a side question I'd like to ask. Would you rather have a universal language that helps everyone understand each other, or would you want to maintain this diverse range of dialects that we currently have?
having a diverse range is important uh, to maintain diversity, and I think having a universal language um, kind of defeats the purpose of a lot of things, and it would put a lot of people out of jobs, people who are translators and stuff like that. And there already is a universal language, technically. Sign language is used almost everywhere, aside from the different variations depending on which continent you are in. But overall, it's generally the same. And I still think it's crucial to just keep that diversity because it'll cross bridges between certain cultures and everyone will be able to experience different cultures.
Thank you so much for your perspective. I certainly agree with you. Having diversity is better than being able to communicate with one another in a sense that by learning a new language, you're strengthening that connection and you're making it, and it's almost as if you want to connect with other people. Having a universal language would
Yeah.
like defeat the purpose of building bridges. And lastly, to conclude this interview, do you have any words of advice of encouragement for others who want to take up or continue their language learning journeys?
If you were to learn a language, or if you currently are, I would recommend just picking a language that actually has some sort of relevance to you. It's obviously like fine if you want to learn some random language that has no correlation to you, but to actually strive in the language and fluently speak in it, I think it's really important that you have some sort of connection to it because that can serve as some sort of motivation for you to keep learning it. As if I was learning some random language that I would never need